Hey, what is up, everybody? It's your boy AJTRIP. Welcome to another Game According to Me podcast. Boy, we had some interesting stuff happening this weekend, didn't we? The Royal Rumble, the championship games of the NFC and AFC. Past Thursday, they announced the NBA All-Star game, and two legends seemingly retired. Let's talk about it all. Let's get right to it. All right, so let's do the NBA All-Star votes. It was announced this past Thursday. The starters for the East: Kevin Durant, lead vote getter; Giannis Antetokounmpo and Joel Embiid for the front court; backcourt: Trae Young of the Atlanta Hawks and DeMar DeRozan of the Chicago Bulls. Of the Western Conference, LeBron James, lead vote getter of from the Los Angeles Lakers; Nikola Jokic from Denver Nuggets; and Andrew Wiggins, kind of shocked some people, for the Golden State Warriors. In the backcourt, Steph Curry of the Warriors and John Morant of the Grizzlies. Those were the starters that were announced from the fan voting is accounting for 50% of the vote. The media voting and the players voting accounted for the other 50%. And then you come up with those starters. So basically, whoever the fans voted in were the ones that were started. Basically, there was no change to none of the fans' vote. You should just let the fans just keep the vote. I just don't get it, and let the media and the players vote for the reserves instead of the coaches. But let's read something here from NBA.com. James and Durant, as leading vote getters in each conference, will be the captains who draft players for the rosters on the February 20th game in Cleveland. James, who began his NBA career in Cleveland in 2003, led them to a 2016 championship during his second stint there. Was chosen as an All-Star for his 18th straight time. He has been a captain every year since the league went away from East and West format. Durant's availability for the game is in doubt because of a sprained knee ligament. He was voted a starter for the 10th time, while the Bucks forward Antetokounmpo was voted for a sixth consecutive time, tying Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's franchise record for selections. Embiid was voted a starter for the fifth straight season, longest streak by a Sixers player since Allen Iverson was chosen 7 straight times from 2000 to 2006. Fan base accounted for 50% of the vote. Media and panel and current players accounted for 25% each. Morant, the number 2 pick behind Zion Williamson in the 2019 draft, was rewarded for elevating Memphis to a surprising third spot in the Western Conference, averaging 25.8 points, 6.9 assists, and 5.9 rebounds. He joins Marc Gasol as the only Grizzlies player voted All-Star starters. Wiggins was the most surprising selection. The number 1 pick of the 2014 draft has blossomed since being traded to Golden State 2 years ago and has averaged 18.1 points for the team with the league's second best record. Reserves for the game will be voted on by the head coaches in each conference will be announced February 3rd, this upcoming Tuesday. So there you have it. Also starters. For me, just personally, I would have liked to have seen Zach LaVine make it over Trae Young. I think that LaVine has been one of the best guards in the land. But I think what very well could happen, is that he'll be announced as a reserve this next Thursday. And if Durant doesn't play, he'll probably become a starter They'll move the Rose into the front court, which he's been all year round. Technically, he's been starting small forward for the Bulls all year round. I have no idea why they when they did the balloting, they put him as a guard, but whatever, it happened. So, so they would probably do that, and then put Zach LaVine as your guard, and both Bulls players were starting. So that makes the most sense, and I think that will happen. So there you have it for the All-Star starters. So let's talk about these Hall of Fame retirements, shall we? We can still have one left to go. Ben Roethlisberger retired for 18 seasons. Said he's retired from football. Truly grief for me. And everything he said. He posted a video to his Twitter account. Announcing his retirement. He was the Rookie of the Year, 2 Super Bowl wins. Wasn't the MVP in any of them, but 2 Super Bowl wins. The 5th most passing yards in NFL history. He's top 10 in all of the passing stats. So he's been an incredible player. Incredible. Let's read just a couple of quotes here from players. Steelers President Art Rooney II said, "We are forever grateful for all the success he has helped bring to the organization for the past 18 years. Ben will always be viewed as one of the all-time greats in our team history, and his determination, his toughness, and his competitiveness will be remembered by everyone in the organization as well as the nation throughout the world." Bill Cowher, when I think about you, you identify and you represent everything a pitcher is. You played with grit, determination, a degree of toughness. I congratulate you on a job well done. Without a doubt, I will see you in Canton. Kudos. Yeah, I think he's no doubt has been a Hall of Famer. I think it's the first ballot. Like I said, there's so many things that could happen, right? In the next, we're gonna get to Brady in a second, but Ben is retired. There's a possibility that Gronkowski could retire this year. There's a possibility that Andrew Whitworth of the Rams could retire this year. Being over 40, playing left tackle, He could go into the Hall of Fame. Brady, of course, and then there's, you know, Aaron Rodgers. And if Aaron Rodgers retires, wow, what could it be? I mean, it could be so incredible. Let's do mention while we're here that yeah, he had a couple of lows throughout his career. Roethlisberger was twice publicly accused of sexual assault. Even though he was never prosecuted in either case, he was suspended 4 games for violating the personal conduct policy in 2010. Um, there was also a moment where he disobeyed Bill Cowher's thing, and he went out and rode his motorcycle without a helmet. And that could have been more than just, you know, what it was. That could have been absolutely tragic. So, yeah, I mean, just make sure that you take everything correctly. That's what you take your safety in your own hands if you're gonna play football. But this, over the past couple of years, he had an elbow thing, so it didn't. In 2019, he had an elbow injury in week 2, and it seemed like he had never he was never the same really. 2020, even though they were, you can see it was a different type of thrower of football was Ben Roethlisberger. Really, he didn't throw. He threw deep, but you felt like that it wasn't what he should be doing, and he did. He threw a lot of short passes, in the last couple of years, but he did what he made to do. He led both seasons Pittsburgh to the Super Bowl, not Super Bowl, to a playoff appearance. So even in a depleted state than what he was in the past, I think it's incredible what he is and who he is, and yeah, it's a big thing for Ben Roethlisberger retiring. One of the quarterbacks, all 3 quarterbacks in the 2004 draft. Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, and now Ben Roethlisberger have retired. So, can't wait to see you in Canton, Big Ben. So then, how about this? On Sunday, on Sunday or on Saturday, yeah, it was on Saturday. Jeff Johnson and Alan Schefter, ESPN reported that Tom Brady was going to retire from football after 22 seasons in the NFL. Retired at the age of 44. Played 20 years with the Patriots, 2 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think he's won in everything. He's won in most completions, most attempts, most yards, most touchdowns. It isn't crazy. So, Brady has talked about that he never wanted a farewell season. And he had been talking about it beforehand, on his written podcast or whatever, that, he's going to talk to his family about it. And, his wife and his kids have made so many concessions to help to make Tom Brady do what he wants to do and play football until he's 44 years old. And he was talking about, well, now maybe it's now time for me to go and do what I need to do as a husband to my wife and as a father to my kids. So he is going ahead and retired. And a lot of people talked about it. It was unreal that they couldn't believe it. But there has been some pushback. Some people have been up to Adams and Jeff Report. They have said that there's a possibility that there was some reports out there that actually Tom Brady has not told people that he's been retired, and he is still taking on his he's still taking his time filling out what he wants to talk, what he wants to do, and there have been several people that have been come out and said Tom Brady Senior, Tom Brady's agent, the Buccaneers front office have all said that we've not heard from Tom Brady that he is going to win the Super Bowl. But I think when Adam Schefter and Jeff Darlington of ESPN and then Ian Rappaport of NFL Network, all three says that they are hearing that Tom Brady's retiring, then I think it's all about that. So so we talked about it last week on this podcast. This week on this podcast, he said that when he will make a decision when the time is right. And he talked about there's a lot of interest. When I know, I will know. And for me, it's literally day to day. I'm trying to evaluate everything I do. I take it day by day. I take it by the moments. So, what it sounds like here is that either Tom or his agent told the wrong person, and they then leaked it to Schefter and Darlington and Rappaport. And Tom Brady didn't want it to come out this way. He wanted to make it out. He wanted to let the Buccaneers know first, probably. He wanted to, he wanted to do it the way he wants to do it. Because the one thing about Brady, everybody has mentioned, his last 2 years in Bay, been a totally different person than he was in New England. He's been more stitched up, been more quiet. He's been less expressive. And that's because he was under Bill Belichick, but now he is doing a lot of those things and everything. Talking a little bit more about his family and everything like that, and just being way more open and honest about a lot of things. So, that's it is what it is. I believe we were here. Tom Brady does retire. At some point in the next couple months. Now I will say this: I think Schefter and Darlington and Rappaport has the report correct. Let me say that I think they had the report correct. I also think that Tom Brady is the type of dude to be petty and then come back and play another year. Because those three reported that he was gone. I think Tom Brady would do that. So don't be shocked if he does come back and play. But yeah, I do believe Tom Brady is retiring. And listen, everybody calls him the GOAT. I've said it on this podcast before. I'll say it again. I don't believe he's the GOAT. I mean, he could have said. I believe he is like Bill Russell in the NBA. Bill Russell has 11 championship rings. He's the greatest champion of all time. I think Tom Brady was 7. He's the greatest champion of all time. But there's no doubt that Michael Jordan was the best basketball player of all time. That's a point being cleared in the discussion. And I think the same way for Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning was the greatest quarterback of all time. He played the position better than anybody ever did. And just because, but he's also more of a team sport. And just because he only has 2 rings and Brady has 7, doesn't make Brady better than Manning. It doesn't. Sorry. I'm not trying to clown Tom Brady on his last waning moments in NFL. It's just what it is. So, but that being said, we'll never see somebody like Tom Brady again. Like we'll never see somebody like Peyton Manning again, and that should be relished as we know of his depart over the NFL.
There's a bunch of young guys in there. I just ran through three of them, and through their owners of the league, and Petroni, there you go. But there's one guy whose jersey I know your son likes to wear a lot of the time, who has, I'm not sure what the right word is, receded attack from the conversation. I mean, he's definitely receded from the conversation because there's a lot of games that he's not even on. And talking about Lamar Jackson, obviously, I think we're angry about that. I really do believe that he has to change the work because his style of play is not going to be rookie year Tom Brady type of year. And he's still really talented, still well learning the coach. Lamar Jackson is still, remember, the MVP. He's 26 years old. And we were talking at the beginning of the season about how he should be in the MVP conversation because he was doing so much with so little bit. So let's not carry away and think that Lamar Jackson is not in his group. He's not here right now because of what happened this week. But he's just as impactful on his team. And their style of play, well, every week you talk about San Francisco was a bad matchup team because they were physical and they ran the hell out of the football. Guess what the Ravens do? The same thing. They take defense and smash you in the mouth. Not very good team in the modern age of football. Upfield, play defense and get the ball away and then pass like that. That's fair, and that's decimated by injury around him. But Market, it does sort of make me harken back to a conversation that we've had strongly on this program over the recent years about whether the style of play they employ is a problem to the extent that it just sets the quarterback up to get hit so much that it makes him injury and become a concern. Does this rise to that in your opinion? You need to follow because I feel that we've never seen anything like football yet. But you know what I'm saying? The injuries were one of the issues of what it is too. The Ravens team was different than they got injuries. They would have been in the playoffs and did not just losing their whole team throughout the course of the season or guys in the game. But when I look at Lamar, I think what he's always been on the edge. You heard me saying this for hours and hours. All the past. But the good news is that is what you're going to have to go through. And he's going to have to figure it out himself into a way where he can play both ways. I can take off. I can get down the field. I can do what Lamar Jackson does. And then I need to get in the pocket. And if you don't get the 100 on every quarterback in the NFL, Lamar Jackson doesn't have 100 in the play. But that's what he expected to do before he got out of receiving with injuries and things like that. If he takes care of the football, he's right there in the field with all of these other guys. He just does it a different way as possibly alluded to. But the Baltimore Ravens are going to be a good football team. They are going to be a part of the conversation in the playoffs. And Lamar Jackson still will have dynamic Brady, dynamic Brady, supplanted in the conversation with all of these other guys. And things are going to look the same. There you go. It's the word definitely regularly. I mean, listen, Patrick Mahomes had a bad hat and being black. You know what I mean? Bad hat, man. Like, look, and then Andy Reid said to go to the third Super Bowl. And we put him up there and say, hey, man, he didn't get it done. So when you think about what Lamar Jackson, and I think he was an MVP in 2019, but the conversation because of the injury and the and really, we talked about Patrick Mahomes struggling in the middle of the season. Talking about maybe he wasn't doing that. Well, guess what? Lamar didn't get great against the blitz. Like Slay, he was saying he turned the ball over. He was doing what he would do earlier. And then when he gets hurt, and here's the biggest factor, he's not practicing. And so you get a ball and develop and passing game with your quarterback. When your receivers are hurt, your quarterback's hurt after missing time. And, you know, for the number of different reasons, it's not excuses if you listen. But his performance did not, was not a standard of what he's looking for this season. So when you're talking about the other guys and they're making it to championship games and Super Bowls and all those different conversations, he has to get himself back there by winning because again, in a half, these people are putting up a hole. Think about a whole season of struggle. That's not the conversation being had the way it is. Yeah, I think he's in the right place. I think the right organization. I have faith in that organization, that coaching staff, that front office to keep the structure around him good and find a way to win with it. Too often the conversation about the Lamar Jackson focuses on what he can't do, right? His shortcomings. But what he can do is a sounding and add the ability to elevate the team beyond just good and great, as we've seen it. So I think with that coaching staff of John Harbaugh, that front office, the way they operate the organization, think he's set up for success. I mean, he'll get a contract extension. They'll figure out a way to work around that. And yeah, and then I think it was fun though. The John Harbaugh kind of brother was coaching that. I think it's got to be a quarterback. Well, I think that's pretty much right. John, I think it's the final word because I think this is why I think one more question over here. No, I mean it's not even personal. It's just logical. I mean, the man wants to do it.
Well, sometimes there are disadvantages of doing your podcast in the morning. Sometimes there are advantages. The advantage is that breaking news seems to happen more in the morning than it does at any other time during the day. And it has been announced. We just talked about it that Jeff Darlington and Adam Schefter, they announced over the weekend that Tom Brady would retire. And there was a little brushback about Tom's not going to retire and or anything like that. Tom still doesn't know, but he just announced on his Instagram he's retiring from the game of football. So that means a lot. We just talked about it. One of the greats of this game will not play any more football. Incredible. So good luck to TB12 and whatever he plans to do into the future. Let's talk about the conference championship game, shall we? So, after coming off of the divisional round weekend where, my God, it was just, many people seem to think that may have been the greatest weekend of football ever. The game this year wasn't so bad in itself as well. Start with the Bengals and the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. They went to the half at 21-3, but at the end of the half, for some reason, they would Tennessee went for another touchdown, which I don't have any problem with. But with 5 seconds left, they didn't do something that was quick, a quick pass or a quick shot, so that maybe get 3 or 4 seconds off, so that you can leave 1 second on to kick a field goal just to get a score. It did not happen. For some reason, Patrick Mahomes threw it to Tyreek Hill, who was not in the field of play. He would have needed to have broken a tackle or two to make it to the end zone, and he did not. So it went to halftime at 21-3, and that was something that I think obviously hurt the Bengals in this not the Bengals, hurt the Chiefs as we went on. And the CBS halftime was my God. They had Walker Hayes as the halftime show, in Cleveland, in there in Kansas City. But the CBS also wanted to give us the it was an audio issue, but so they wanted to have get their thoughts from Bill and Boomer and Nate and Phil, along with James Brown. But you couldn't hear those guys. You heard Walker Hayes in the back. Let's go to Applebee's in the big thing. And oh my God, it was just it was insane. It really was. So you couldn't hear them. So that was funny. Came back to the football at third quarter, and they were just not the same. I think a lot of people have said this, that Cincinnati made the adjustment to rush 3, have a spy on Patrick. Have a spy on Patrick, and then the other 7 would be, playing zones in the field, and Kansas City just never thought to run the ball some to get them out of their defense. But they just tried to go with Patrick, and it just it didn't really work. They scored 3 points in the second half of overtime, while the Bengals went on to score 24 points. In the second half to go to the Super Bowl, and wow, it is amazing. Over 30 years from the Bengals going to the Super Bowl, and Joe Burrow in his second year. Last year he tore his ACL. This year he's going to the Super Bowl. Unreal. It's unreal. Another great game came down to a last second kick. And that kicker from Cincinnati is amazing. McPherson, I think is his name. It's incredible. So the Bengals are now going to the Super Bowl representing the AFC. But let's check out the NFC. What would happen? What would happen when the Rams faced the 49ers in SoFi Stadium? I think both quarterbacks here, they were okay, but a lot of people have been saying that the coaches didn't coach very well. And I know Kyle Shanahan, or Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan didn't do didn't have too much to do to combat the Rams defense. They couldn't run the ball against their defense. And I know Matthew Stafford and I know Sean LeVay, he had some mistimed challenges and lost timeouts and all of that stuff. But I don't know, man. I just thought it was okay. I didn't think the coaches did anything too wrong. But some people are saying that Kyle Shanahan was conservative, not punting on. He did punt on some fourth and shorts instead of going for it on fourth down. I think we need to calm it down on the going for fourth downs. I think we really do. We just need to play the way you feel like you need to play. Now, if you want to be aggressive, then go ahead and be aggressive. But if being aggressive is not your style, don't do it. And I don't know if aggressiveness is San Francisco's style. So, but yeah, Deebo Samuel only touched the ball once in the second half for San Francisco. It was kind of a bad all-time night. And then when the Rams went up 2017, they let their defense swarm Jimmy G, and Jimmy G, who he is what he is. I don't think many times last week many times said that Jimmy G was the he was the guy who on the group project got an A for doing nothing, and I don't think that was the case. I think it was very harsh, and she took some backlash from former San Francisco 49ers quarterback Jeff Garcia. And she shouldn't have. I don't think she should have said that. She that is something that I think she has cultivated for herself. The way she can talk football, and she's got some some stuff to back it up. But I think she's a little bit more to the analytical side, and if you got analytics and everything like that, and you got to stop being analytics in sports. They should be a tool in the toolbox, but they shouldn't be the end all be all. And she makes the end all be all. Just like the idiots who in baseball make the things end all be all. So, anyway, I think Jimmy G is good. We'll see what happens. They did draft Trey Lance back in April of last year, so we'll see how this definitely does go along with the crew. And the Rams are not going to the Super Bowl. And the Cincinnati Bengals and the Los Angeles Rams, both for 4 seeds. If you would have said at the beginning of the year that the Super Bowl would be the Cincinnati Bengals against the Los Angeles Rams, I don't know who would have predicted that. I don't think nobody would have. And for the second year in a row, a team is playing a game in their home stadium. How about that? So a quick breakdown here before we go. Um, I think for Cincinnati, they've had trouble blocking pass rushes all year long. Um, you know about the 9 sacks in Tennessee. You know about all of that. And with Aaron Donald and Von Miller on the Rams and that other front four that they have up there, it just could be a tough day. They are gonna have to block it up. I think they lost C.J. Umozo, did the Bengals in the game, and kind of coincidentally the Rams lost their tight end Tyler Higbee. Who knows if either one of those will play? But if I'm the Cincinnati Bengals, have I have my tight end in there. I have 6 guys blocking at all times. 6 guys blocking all times. I'm running short passes. I'm running intermediate passes. Something that where Joe Burrow could get the ball out quickly, and before or something before the Rams defense could get to him. I'm running the ball with Joe Mixon. That's a good. If the Bengals win this game, they're going to win this game on the back of Joe Mixon or on the back of that on the backs of the defense for the Bengals, because Bengals have an average defense, but they can get to the quarterback as well. Trey Hendrickson was a Pro Bowler this year, so I think he can get to the quarterback as well. And for the Rams, I think that's just it. I think for the Rams, it's on Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford can't have any of the turnovers that he has had in the last 4 or 5 games going into the season. Can't do that. He can't. He's got to be great. They traded for Matthew Stafford so that for this moment, for to make it in the Super Bowl, and for him to be great, and that's what needs to happen. All right, y'all. So that's gonna be it for this episode of the Game According to Me. No episode next week. We could talk about the Pro Bowl, but this will the reserves for All-Star game, for the NBA All-Star game, is going to be announced next week. But we could talk about that really quickly before the other one. So I'm going to I will be back. It will be February. Let's see, because we talked about this time ago, right? Because on my other podcast, which you guys can go and check out as well, it's called The Word According to Me. I'm going to be doing a podcast on that 14th, the Monday. So I think what I'm going to do is that Sunday night. Normally, the last couple of years, I've done a rapid reaction to the Super Bowl. And I think I'm still gonna do a rapid reaction. And I've also done this. I'm just gonna take that audio from the rapid reaction and put it up on the thing as a podcast. So you guys will see it and hear it, and I'll put it up there on like late in the night and have it there for you so that you wake up Monday morning, it will be there. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for listening. Please go to patreon.com/AJTRIP to become a patron. Once I hit a certain amount of patrons, you will be able to determine what you will see on my YouTube channel, to hear on my other podcast, and what you can do something with on Twitch. Okay? Or you can go right to my anchor.fm page, anchor.fm/AJTRIP show, and you can subscribe from there. 99 cents a month, $4.99 a month, or $9.99 a month. And you can ball out and have some good time. And yeah, so I appreciate it. Anyway, or if you can't monetarily support me, you can do the other things. You can support me too just by sharing and rating my podcast wherever on whatever platform you have. All right. Thank you guys again for listening. This is your boy AJTRIP signing off. As always, be good to each other. Be careful out there. And I'm out.